Hello and welcome to Scottish Football Matters with myself, Lorenzo, and my good friend Murray.
All right.
Today we are going to be discussing the title race as it looks as if it's back on. The Celtic and Rangers both close the gap on Hearts as they lose to Kilmarnock at Rugby Park. We'll also look back at the full weekend's card of fixtures and we'll look ahead to Scotland's matches coming up as the squad was announced today. And remember to like and subscribe the channel because we want to hit 100 followers. We're wanting to grow the channel. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Yeah. It's actually nice to come on and do one after Rangers won, even though it was dreadful. But it shows you all about football, doesn't it? I mean, you
Yep.
can actually play quite well the week before and you lose in penalties, and then you play absolutely crap and you win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's football. But I think best place to start is Saturday. Obviously, we'll start with, because we didn't touch on it since the last pod. Obviously, Aberdeen got a new manager, Stephen
Yep.
Robinson. What do you think of that in general? Not so much the game, but what do you think of his appointment?
I don't know. A lot of Aberdeen fans are actually underwhelmed by the appointment, from what I
See,
heard.
see for me, it's a brilliant appointment, but why the hell did they wait 3 months?
Well, I know it's a stupid, it is a
Because
strange one because
they
they
could
could have
be,
had him.
they could still be in a cup. They could be fighting for the top six if they'd
That's
made
right.
the right decision at the right time.
Many weeks ago was that? 6 weeks ago they got rid of Jimmy
Nine,
Tilleen.
9 weeks. It was
9
like three
weeks.
months. Well, it was literally three. Well, it was longer than that. It was like
Mm-hmm.
January time, wasn't it?
Yeah, aye. Why? Because if you think they
Because we
forgot.
we played them twice and they didn't have a manager, remember? So that was
Mm-hmm.
January.
Aye,
Yep, it was right after the because he gets sacked the same sort of time as Nancy.
that's right. Run about the same time.
Because we were about to play them twice, sure, in a double header,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember wasn't sure if it was a good thing or a bad thing. It ended
Yep.
up okay, but so yeah, Robinson's got the job. His first result was one each, which on paper I think is a good result. Uh,
Yep.
but if I'm totally honest, I didn't see I didn't see a great improvement. But for a guy that took the job on what, Thursday,
Yep.
Friday,
He's only how many training sessions he had? Just the one,
maybe
probably.
one. So I wouldn't expect a big improvement. But
Yep.
what I did notice is they certainly looked better organised. Even though Falkirk dominated the game and probably should have won it on the balance of play, but um, they looked organised. They didn't look as open.
Mm-hmm.
Falkirk had to work hard for their chances. But obviously Aberdeen go and score the open goal after about 70 minutes, which is a absolute howler by Bain, isn't it?
That is, no question.
But fair play. I think that was indicative of the only difference I noticed in Aberdeen was that they seem to be running and working harder, and that
Uh,
happens when a new manager comes in.
That'll
Players
happen
just
through time as he gets more
yeah,
training sessions in.
and I think they looked. I mean, I think that goal comes because they're working hard and they pressed and they actually pressed in a pack, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously Nisbet takes advantage of Bain's mistake, and I don't think they were unlucky, but I suppose at the same time they did lose a goal in the 89th minute, so
Yeah.
you can sort of say, oh, it was unfortunate he didn't hold on, but Falkirk fully merited a point in the balance of play, and I think it's just another point in the right direction for them, and
Mm-hmm. Aye.
I think they're pretty much guaranteed the top six. Am I right? They're 9 points clear
I would
of
say so.
Dundee United with 3 games to go,
Mhm.
and that would mean Dundee United beating Rangers and Celtic, which on paper probably ain't going to happen. So
Well, I
I
hope
think
not
Falkirk,
for
I
us
think
anyway. For
Falkirk are
Celtic.
pretty much guaranteed, and I think once they do guarantee it, their whole attention will turn to the cup.
Well, they're playing
The
who's it?
cup,
Dunfermline. They've got in the cup.
Dunfermline in the semi, and then
Uh,
Celtic are St Mirren in the final. And I
yeah.
don't think they'll be scared of either of those teams. I
No,
really
probably
don't.
not. They shouldn't
Not
be.
not the way they're playing, and the way they've performed against those teams. Maybe not got the results against Celtic. That'd be fair to say, but
Mm-hmm.
I think for Falkirk, they'll just want to wrap up the top six. And I actually think they're not really a team to be too scared of in the top six, just because I do think their attention's going to turn to those, like a cup final, and you've seen it before.
Yeah.
Teams in a cup final, and they end up the league form just goes off a cliff because the players don't want to get an injury. They don't want to. It happens.
Well, that happened with St Mirren after they beat us in the League Cup final. They fell off a cliff, really.
But I think Falkirk did really well. What I said, once they wrap it up, I don't think they'll be great after that. But I think what I would say is Aberdeen going forward, they've got. I think they've got Rangers next week, right? But I think the big one for them is the following week, where they go to St Mirren, because St Mirren are only 6 behind them. So if St Mirren, who are like joint, like they're on the same points as Kilmarnock in that relegation playoff, if they were to beat Aberdeen, that brings Aberdeen right back into it.
I don't think Stephen Robinson will be wanting that to happen now that he's at Aberdeen.
No, he wouldn't. But unless he's a mole,
well,
unless he's just been sent there to
unless he's an
drag
agent.
somebody else into it. Aye.
Yep.
But what I would say is Aberdeen will be looking to get some points on the board as quickly as they can. I mean, I know you'll be hoping it's next week at Ibrox, but
of course,
I look at the next 2 games after that, and I think it's like St Mirren, as I said. I think the last one might be like Hibs or something, and I don't know. I don't think. I don't know where the points are coming from if they don't pick it up in Paisley. Is what I mean.
That's right.
Because I'd imagine St Mirren will have a new manager in by then. And then they go down that road of having a new manager bounce, and I think it's going to be a tricky kind of a tricky situation for Aberdeen if they don't pick up any points before the split, because I think the teams around them, St Mirren would obviously do that if they beat them. And I look at
Kilmarnock as well.
Kilmarnock look like they're capable of picking up points, but if we move on to Livingston. Hibs, I don't think there was much to talk about other than I know Hibs had a late penalty shout, but it was a definite great tackle. He took the ball. I know they gave the penalty, but they overturned it for the right decision. I was going to say I don't blame the ref, but I do, because he's looking right at it, and we'll get on to looking right at it in the next game we talk about. But and I think it's a big picture that we need to talk about. Is I do think that. With that one, at least he made a decision, right? So I don't want to criticise him, right? Because he made a decision. It was the wrong one. But I just think, see, if you're looking right at that, you must be able to tell from the trajectory of the ball that it's been kicked that way. And Boyle wouldn't have kicked it that way.
I know.
Boyle's going towards goal. So if the ball goes that way, clearly he got a ball. Maybe he's thought that he's took the man, then the ball. I don't know. But
sometimes that can happen. You can get the ball, but you can also... your momentum takes
but you know what? Well. At least the referee made a decision. That's all I'd say. But I don't think Hibs deserved more than a point. I thought that
it's a poor game.
I thought that. Do you know what the problem is with Livingston is, as they got against Hibs and Rangers, just 1 point just doesn't seem enough. But next week they've got a massive game. Just like I was saying with St Mirren, they've got Kilmarnock next week.
Yeah.
And if they can beat Kilmarnock, then they, the same way I was saying about St Mirren dragging Aberdeen down, Livingston are looking to drag St Mirren and Kilmarnock down. I think it's too little too late for Livingston. But I do feel bad for them, because since Bartley's come in, they certainly look hard to beat, but they just don't really have that... They don't really have enough up top, do they?
Well,
I know they scored a couple of worldies against us. One of them was. But I'm not ruling them out yet. That's what I'm saying. After the split, when you need to play all the teams around you,
that's right. The last 5 games.
That's where you decide titles and relegation. But I think Livingston are certainly going in the right direction. I think we need to praise them, because you've seen it at Celtic Park where they lost a late goal to Oxlade Chamberlain. They lost a couple of late ones to Rangers. They're not far away from being a decent team. And even at Hearts, they lost 1-0 to a set piece. And you just think, since Bartley's come in, that they look a better team. And maybe when they start playing St Mirren, Aberdeen, Kilmarnock around them, they might be able to turn those draws into win.
When did he take the job, Bartley?
About a month, just over a month ago.
So Would he have had part of the January window? No, he wouldn't
No,
have.
no,
Would he
no,
have?
no. It
No,
was
no.
after
So
that.
that's the thing. He's not even had a. He's not even been able to bring in
Like,
players.
you
So
need to remember though, he was always assistant manager, so he
aye,
was always part of it. So it's not.
I know.
I don't think he's. And I actually think that's the reason he's doing so well. Is it's just a fresh voice. Because
Hmm.
you know, I don't think that David Martindale was a bad manager. He'd maybe just been there too long,
Aye, I think so.
and sometimes the players just stop listening.
Yeah.
Um, but what I would say is, although we're saying that they need more than points, they might get more than points when they start playing teams who are
I run about them.
beatable
Aye.
and teams that are also lacking confidence.
Yeah.
If we move on to Celtic Motherwell, what I would say about this first for me, it's a fantastic game
It was a good game.
between
Yeah.
a side Motherwell who literally outplay everyone in terms of on the ball. I
Hmm.
just don't think they do enough to create enough chances for all their play.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the first half, right, the two goals are caused by defensive errors.
It's
You
a
know,
Celtic
the Motherwell
mistake.
goals
Aye.
caused by Hatate's mistake, and the
Hmm.
Celtic goals caused by them overplaying at the back. They
Yep.
just completely overplay. They had an opportunity just to play the ball forward quickly, and I don't think that they would have won the game if they'd went in ahead at half time, but they'd had a better chance of.
Aye.
You
But
know,
out with their goal. See, out with their goal. I don't think they caused much of a threat. I mean, I know they played
well,
well, but did they cause much
they,
of a threat?
but neither did Celtic though. If we're totally honest, until the red
Oh,
card,
no, oh,
they
well, second
they
half they
had
were
a
better.
yeah. Second half we got closer to Motherwell and they made it more of a game.
Hmm.
But Celtic, I mean, I can't remember their goalkeeper making saves. The problem was that it was two very good football teams, right, until the final third,
Yep.
where they were both relying on defensive errors.
That's because we've not got. I mean, Celtic haven't really got a decent striker, a goal scoring striker. We don't.
Yeah, and we'll get onto that when we talk about the title race sort of running. But I think Celtic, we'll get onto it. So I think the first goal, mistake by Hatate, equaliser, overplaying at the back.
Hmm.
Second half, I thought Celtic came out a lot hungrier, looked half a yard sharper.
I still think we'd have won, even if they'd have kept 11 men on the park. I still think we'd have won the game.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because at that point I felt it was very even. I'm not sure there's been another goal. I think both sides were playing well, but not creating chances. If you know
Mm.
what I mean.
Yeah.
And obviously Celtic get the corner, and for me it's a I don't want to say it's a stonewall penalty and a red card, but it is a penalty and a red card, right?
That's a penalty.
Because I think the guy,
How he doesn't give it?
I I have a lot of sympathy for the defender getting a red card in the sense that you see people making really bad challenges right in the box and they don't get the double jeopardy rule,
Hmm.
but you wrestle with somebody and you get wrong side and the, he's not tried to foul him. He's just
No,
stupid.
it's just daft. But I mean, the
But I
referee
do
where
feel
he's
bad,
standing,
like, because do you
it's
remember when
crazy.
Dom Thompson got sent off at Ibrox for something quite similar? He
Hmm.
got wrong side of Gassama. You're like, well, is that back in the day? You used to have to do a lot to get a red card. Now you don't.
Oh, you
Um,
don't. That's right.
but what I would say is the referee's atrocious. I mean, he's looking right at it, and he
He's
doesn't
standing.
have.
Like, is it 3 feet away or something?
Yeah,
I
and
thought.
for me, it's just indicative of football right now. I think referees are low on confidence, just like Gassama at Rangers or Tanecki, and they make bad decisions or they don't make a decision at all. This is a referee's equivalent of a winger cutting back inside and passing it backwards.
I just think he's a shit
Their
ref. If I'm
equivalent is
honest.
just to sort of go, I'm too scared to make a decision, so I'll let VAR decide. Gee, if that's
But
the case,
Scotland have always had shit refs, though.
why have we got a ref on the pitch if we're just letting VAR make decisions?
Well, that's right. Why bother?
Because it's honking. And by the way, we'll talk about Sunday's inconsistencies. And
Hmm.
John Beaton basically is a
That's not.
terrible ref.
Well, look at that comment. Exactly. I 100% agree. He's awarded Celtic one penalty in 9 years from open play before. Well, this is before
Mm.
VAR came in. And then since VAR came in, he's there's so many of them. He's still no awarding penalties, and the majority of them have went to VAR.
What I would
So
say though is, like, even if you look at Rangers' stats, right? so many penalties are getting decided by VAR and not the referees. So I don't think this is just a John Beaton thing. I think it's a Scottish football thing and a poor standard referee who are too scared to make decisions. By the way, they're just
I
not
just think
good as
they're
well.
inept. They're shite.
Yeah,
Right?
and by the way, so what I would say though is the game does change on that moment. Obviously Celtic score the penalty, and the whole crowd gets a lift.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the third goal comes for a really misjudged the bounce, but
Yep.
Yang's right on it. I think you have to praise Yang.
That
Both
was
his goals,
he
he
timed
was
his run
on.
well, and he
Yeah,
done well.
not just
Aye.
that though. He's alert. He's
Aye.
alert at both goals. He's alert at his first goal because
He's
he
gambled,
sees the
and it's
keeper
worked.
coming, and at the second one he's gambled that
Aye.
Transfara and the defender are kind of wrestling each other. Like
Mm-hmm.
neither of them seemed to want the ball. They both just kind of were hugging each other. And the ball just
Even
bounced over the two of them, and he went in behind. And by the way, on top of that, it's a great finish
that is a lovely finish. Aye. Great goal.
because
But the
if it wasn't for such shit defending in the front, I'd maybe have given it goal of the weekend because there
mm.
wasn't a lot of great goals.
Well, the penalty. I thought he took his penalty very well. Shavin
Yeah,
Shara, obviously
yeah,
after there was a long delay before it as well.
yeah. But I think it was a long delay because obviously he had to go
And
and
the
decide the red
goalkeeper,
card.
the
And that.
goalkeeper get booked for time wasting as well. If you noticed, in the lead up to the penalty.
I know, but that's just. But I think I can't say Celtic didn't deserve the win because after the red card, they dominated. But what I would say is until the red card, I thought it was very even.
No, I thought we'd have won.
I
I
don't
thought
think
even without the red card, I still thought we might have won 2-1, but it wouldn't have
I
been any
don't
more
think there
than
was
that.
anything between the teams, and I still don't. I still don't think Celtic are any better than Motherwell. I don't think Motherwell are any better than Celtic. I think they both have deficiencies. Yeah, I think Yang's he's quite he's got his critics, isn't he? But
Yep.
as you said, he is 23, and I think people forget that because he's been here for a while.
I know, but he was meant to leave in the summer, but I hope he stays now. I hope we can keep him beyond this summer. I really do.
Yeah, and I think the thing with him is that I think people forget this. All wingers are inconsistent. I mean,
I know
even
that.
Celtic's best wingers over the years have been inconsistent.
Mhm.
I don't think it's helped him that the whole team, especially what also hasn't helped him is everything in front of Yang is terrible. Like
Yeah.
your strikers are non-existent.
Well, what got me at the weekend was he had Ian Atchell back on the bench, but never used him. You're like, why have you got him on the bench if you're not going to use him? For me, he's the best striker we've got. I mean, I know they're all poor, but for
We'll
me, he's the
touch on
best because
this
he's a
Celtic
goal
striker
scorer.
thing because the thing about Celtic strikers, and you can say it with Rangers as well, is Ian Atchell scored 3 goals right
Mm-hmm.
since joining, 2 of
Yep.
them penalties right.
But he's hardly played.
I
He's
know
been
they
injured
still
as well.
count. No, I'm just saying, Transfara scored 2 goals, 1
Well,
penalty,
3 if you
1.
include the shootout penalty
No,
as well.
I'm not including a shootout
How?
penalty.
Why you know include? It's still a goal.
Is it? Fuck, it's not a goal. Don't
Yes.
count. Oh, no, it
Well,
doesn't.
it was the
You
winning
don't count.
penalty to get us through to the next round. So why you
You
not
don't.
counting it?
You don't because you
I
just
know they
don't
don't.
count.
I know they don't count because it's a shootout
Right.
penalty, but he still scored it.
No, it doesn't matter. Right.
All right.
Adamu scored 1, which was
A
a
flick.
sort of last minute flick against Dundee. I know Negrin scored a lot of goals, but if you're looking at the run in and you go, what striker is going to get you 4 or 5 goals to win the
Well,
league?
I'm hoping that young Callum Osman's back because he must be surely nearly back by now. I mean,
He's a child though as
I
well.
know,
I mean,
but the thing
yeah,
is,
yeah, he
when he was
looked
coming
bright.
onto a game, he looked as if he looked bright before he got
He
injured.
did look bright, but again, I just, you know, I'm not sure I'd be pinning my hopes on a kid. Um,
Fair enough, but I
especially a
mean,
kid, especially a kid who's been out injured for that long with a
I get
hamstring
that.
injury.
It's
That would
just a
worry me
shame. It's
because
annoying.
when you have a hamstring injury, that's obviously been a proper
It's
tear.
hard to come
And
back for as well sometimes.
well, it's not hard to come back for if you
No,
have,
but it
but it's
takes a
hard to
while.
rush him back in. You maybe won't see him till pre-season,
We'll see what
if we're
happens.
being totally
But
honest.
I'm just annoyed because if he'd have kept playing and he hadn't got injured, who knows? He might have scored a few more goals. He might have
I know.
been scoring the goals. We'll
Well, what
never
I would
know.
say is, moving on. Obviously, Saturday night, Celtic at that point got a big boost because Hearts went to Kilmarnock
Mm.
and lost, as I predicted they would. Yeah, I mean, you are right. I mean, goals
Yep.
can come from anywhere. I mean,
Yep.
as Rangers proved over December, scoring every goal for a set piece,
Hmm.
as long as you win games. But what I would say is, in the nitty gritty of the split, Rangers and Celtic are going to need players to step up, and I just don't know that either of them have strikers who can score goals.
Yep.
And let's be honest, this would be the first time in my living memory that a team, if Rangers or Celtic win the league, that they win it without a real recognised striker.
That would be crazy. It really would be mad.
Because there's not a Rangers striker with 10 goals. There's not a
No.
Celtic striker with 10 goals.
No.
And when's that ever happened?
I know.
Normally,
But the
when you
thing is,
win a
I would
title, you
play.
go back and you go, Kyogo did
I,
that. You know,
I would play Negrin up front. Try it. I mean, he's scoring the goals, isn't he? He always gets into that box, into
I know,
that
but
part of the
sometimes
pitch.
it's like I remember Chelsea fans used to say that about Lampard, but that's not how it works. He gets in there because he goes unnoticed as a midfielder because some
It's
strikers
good
getting
though.
occupied.
I mean, that's about the only
No,
good
I
thing he
mean,
does.
I'm not denying that, but yeah, I think onto the Hearts and Kilmarnock game.
Come on, look, game.
I did predict a Hearts win. I did predict a Kilmarnock win.
You said
I did
three
say it'd
0
be more. And by the
Mm-hmm.
way, it would have
Oh,
been
2-0.
right.
You changed it to 2, didn't you?
Aye, it would have been if they were a bit more. If they had just had a wee bit more up front, because I think they played well enough to
Yeah.
get more. I thought the boy that scored the goal, Larson,
Larson.
and Finlay Curtis down the left, terrorised their right hand side. Absolutely. I mean, in the first half hour, Kelly could have scored 3 or 4. If you look at
Probably should
the
have.
Curtis's one off the post,
Mm-hmm.
which I know took a deflection, there's a couple other ones where, maybe the Curtis put in a few poor crosses, but he was getting in the right areas. Larson was always doing the overlap, which meant he could come inside, and
Mm-hmm.
they worked really, really well together. And I thought Watson was really good in midfield, and I thought Hugo put himself about up front. But I
Yeah.
just think, see if John Jules was in that team,
Probably
that
would have
game
been more
would have
than
been that game would have been
2 or
3-0.
3. Mm-hmm.
And this is what I said before the game. I wasn't saying this because I want Hearts to lose, because I want my team to win the league. I was saying it genuinely, just looking at football. And Kilmarnock at home are completely different from Kilmarnock away. And
Well, the plastic pitch is a
Kilmarnock at
factor.
home, it is. But I think the fact there is that the players just seem something's working. They seem confident there. Ever since they beat was it Aberdeen there, they went on a bit of a roll, and they just look like a team that feel very. That's going to sound cheesy, but they feel very at home. And they're playing like a team that, for me, I don't know how many home games they've got after the split, whether it's 2 or 3, but they'll feel very confident of beating anyone in that bottom 6 at
Oh, they
Rugby
will.
Park.
Yeah.
They'll also be feeling that they could lose any away game to anyone because they can't quite get that balance right. But if we talk more about the game, I think I didn't feel Hearts created anything across. I
Oh,
mean,
they were poor.
there was lots
But
of
by their
there was
standards
lots
this
of
season, they were
huffing and
poor.
puffing. Like I've seen Rangers and Celtic do that as well, where you have a lot of the ball, but you don't really do anything with it. And it felt that kind of game that it just didn't feel that they were. I didn't feel that that Hearts were ever going to score. I think they could have played all night, but
Well, so did we. I only watched the highlights as well. I didn't watch the full games. I'm only going on the highlights that I've saw. So I'm only judging it on that.
yeah, I watched the whole game of that one, and honestly, the Kilmarnock were excellent, but as equally Hearts were poor, and for me,
Yeah.
Hearts are kind of becoming a wee bit Rangersy, in
Mm-hmm.
that they do look comfortable on their own ground, but less so away from home. And you can't win titles if you can only win at one stadium.
Well,
And
that's true.
in the running, and I know Rangers snuck a win. We'll get to that, but you can see a massive difference in the standards when Rangers play at home or away. And for me, if I was Hearts, I'd look at the last 3. Yeah, you can lose at Ibrox, right? But they've also lost 1-0 at St Mirren and 1-0 at Kilmarnock, who are the 10th and 11th best teams in the league. So
Yeah.
what happens when they go away after the split to Celtic, to Hibs, and to Falkirk, who are our, at the moment, second, fifth, and sixth best team in the league? You'd be quite worried that, if you're a Hearts fan, you'd be worried that if the teams at the bottom are taking care of you,
Mm-hmm.
then that might happen. I know they've still got players to come back, and so Celtic, they've got.
I
It might
think
be a
that was a big
completely
wobble for them
different.
the other night. That was a huge
It,
wobble, and I think
but
there'll be more wobbles for them.
I think
I
there'll
think
be
so.
more wobbles from all three. Celtic certainly ain't going to win 8 games to win the league, and neither are Rangers.
Oh, I hope we do. I hope
Because they
Celtic can
won't
do
know.
it.
We
But
won't know because Celtic and Rangers have not shown this season that they're capable of it.
no, I know that. But Celtic
No,
have
you
been over
can't
it
just say
close
you
before.
you hope they do because they've got an
Oh, of
experienced
course.
manager. But those players aren't the same players that win titles every year. Some of them are useless.
Oh, well, I
You know,
know some of them shouldn't be
like
there.
some of them are players that are in
Like,
on loan.
like that boy in Vuka. I mean, I don't know how.
Yeah,
I mean, we were
and
meant
by
to
the
be
way,
signing him permanently, and
some of the other
he looks
players have
rotten.
come in and done well, like Transfara and Araujo look good
Oh,
players, right?
Araujo's, and
Right.
I like the other boy on the left, Sriracha.
Yeah,
Hot
but what I would
sauce.
say
I
is
call him hot sauce.
the loan players who I don't know how many titles they've won in their career. I know Transfara might have won at Sparta Prague, and I'm sure Sriracha might have won some in South America. But in terms of winning Scottish titles, Celtic obviously have your
Is Araujo
McGregors, your
one in?
Scales.
Was he at
I,
Barcelona?
I,
Did he win a
I think he
league
was. I
there?
don't know if he, but still, even if you aren't playing, still being in and around that feeling,
Aye. Mm-hmm.
I think it's a big thing. But what I would say is I don't think Celtic quite have that squad of winners to sort of suggest, oh, they'll just roll off 7, 8 wins.
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that some of our
And they also,
injured players come back. I don't know if any of them will come back,
even
but I'm
if they
hoping
do,
they
well,
do.
I do, I think they will, but I don't think that's going to be a dramatic switch because when those players were here, when Engels was playing week in, week out, you
I
still
want
weren't
Engels
winning,
back. I know, I
right?
get that, but I still think we're missing Engels in the midfield. I never thought I'd say that, but I think we're missing him. I
I'm
really
not
do.
sure you are. I think obviously you've got McGregor out, so it's probably more
Aye.
noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
But Celtic recently their form's been decent. I mean, they had a tough run of games and they're winning them. But I think we'll
That's
get
all you
back to
need.
where we
That's all we
were
need to
with
keep doing. Keep
get
winning.
back to where we were with Hearts. I think
Mm-hmm.
they deserve to lose the match, but if anyone had offered them 3 points clear with 8 games to go, they'd have taken it.
Well, they're actually 2 points clear, no 3.
Oh, no, 2 points clear. But do you know what I mean? They're still
They're
top of the league.
3 points clear of you, but they're 2
Aye.
points clear of
But if
us.
anyone had offered them any lead
Mm-hmm.
with 8 games to go
I still
at the
think
start of the season,
even
they'd
3
have taken
points
it.
is a fragile lead.
It's all everything's fragile. I mean, you can't really honestly say in your heart of hand that you'd be that surprised if you finished first, second, or third. Because there's
I know the
not.
way the league's
By
gone.
the way, right now, I'll be totally honest. I don't think Rangers or Celtic will finish outside the top 2. That might be using some, experience.
So you think it's either us or yous that are going to win the league then? Is that what you're saying?
I do, but I still think Hearts are in it for now. They're in it until they're not.
Aye. Until it's mathematically impossible, they're still there.
But I do think it'll come down to
when we play against each other.
Well, I don't think that'll matter that much. I think the ones that'll matter is how do we both do against Motherwell? How do we both do against Hearts? How do we both do it against Hibs? This is where it comes down to. When you go to the split and you've got the same fixtures, they're reversed, some of them, but you're still playing tough teams week in, week out.
Yep.
But,
there's another comment from Strange Love the Doctor. I sort of tend to kind of agree with him on that one. I would do that though anyway. I'm obviously going to agree with him, but
well,
Nancy didn't help either.
Well, I think
a
schedule's just a schedule. I mean,
I know, but I still think if we didn't bring in Nancy,
because you had 2 extra European games. I mean, that means nothing. You should be able to. I think the problem with Celtic is that their squad isn't good enough.
No, well, the squad's
and you've got bad injuries right now.
Injuries all over the place.
But even the players that are injured, some of them aren't good enough.
Well, I know that, but
they haven't proved to be good enough.
I still think that I know that if I say this, you'll say the other thing I know about Russell Martin. But I still believe that if we hadn't gave Nancy the job, we'd be top of the league now with a bit to spare.
Yeah, but as I said before, like Hearts would still have the points that they have. You would have more.
They would be because we might have beat them.
Well, you just don't know.
We'd have beat them at Celtic Park. If Martin O'Neill had been in charge, I believe we'd have beat them.
Yeah, but you can. You could say that. I mean, if Danny Rowe had been in charge at the start of the season, we could say the same thing. Rangers
I
would
know you.
probably have more
I
points,
know. I know
and
you're.
you can't even argue that. Would Danny Rowe have amassed more points in those 9 games than Russell Martin did?
Well, we
Probably.
don't know. Probably, but we don't know. Ah, you're right.
But just like we don't know that Martin O'Neill would have got more points
Well, put it
than.
this way, I don't
No,
think
but
he'd
you
have
can't say it though.
shipped. But how many points did we
No,
lose during the Nancy period? What, 12 or 14 points or
yeah,
something
no.
like that?
But look how many points Rangers shipped in the first 9 games. They drew almost every one of them.
Ah, but you use
That was
went
shipping 2 points a game.
but you went for Russell Martin in the summer.
Yeah.
We lost our manager fucking a third of the way through the season, and we had to
You
bring
sacked
in
your manager and pretended it was a resignation. But okay.
we had to bring in obviously fucking Wilfred Nancy, who
We
nobody
didn't
really
have to
wanted.
bring in Wilfred Nancy. You chose to bring in
No,
Wilfred
well,
Nancy.
well, that was
You made
I
a
know it was a
terrible decision,
mistake.
just like we did.
It was Michael
Yeah,
Nicholson
but
whose head should roll for
at
it.
the end of the day, right, Hearts are in the title race because Rangers and Celtic have both been pish. Let's just be honest about it and say that even when Celtic had good managers like Martin O'Neill and Brendan Rodgers, you've still been shite most of the year. You
Ah, but
can't,
we're still
as
all right being
fans,
shite and
you can't tell me.
still pumping the league by 30 points or whatever it is. No.
Yeah, no, but what I would say is you haven't been the team that have been winning leagues. Like even under Brendan Rodgers, every other year,
That's
you've
because the
been. You
transfer
can't just
windows, the
blame.
last three
You can't just
have been
blame
rotten.
Nancy's. What? How many 8 games? 8 games or something? A league is 30. You've had 30 games in the league, and seeing the other 22 of them, you were hopeless. You
See
still
the
amassed more points, but you
see the
haven't
transfer
played well.
windows this season that we've had. See the summer one and the winter one. Terrible, non-existent
Yeah,
crap.
uh, and who do you blame for that? Is it just all the board's fault again, or is it the fact that you don't have a proper system? You don't have a proper director of football. You don't have a structure who's identifying players. All you've got is it's the same old, same old. Everyone, Celtic fans just go, "Oh, it's the board's fault." Well, yeah, the boards have been shit, right? But I just think that
Yeah,
Celtic has been
100%.
shit all season.
I know, but I'm looking at that comment and I'm thinking, I
Right.
know what he's getting at in terms of travel and all the rest of it with the European games and everything. I know, I get that, but the squad is pish. I get that.
Right, okay, but is that also right? Fine. Have Rangers been unlucky for the last 5, 6 years when they've been getting to Europa League semi-finals, quarter-finals, finals? Has that had any impact in the league? No, it hasn't, because you need to be able to balance. You should be able to play on a Thursday and a Sunday. These players are absolute pussies if they
See if
can't
you've got,
play two
but
games a week.
see if you've got.
Oh, I'm sorry,
See,
did Rangers have a great squad all the way through that? No, they did not.
but if you have a
Their
decent
squads are
squad, then you
shite.
will be able to play.
Yeah, but
Celtic have the
Rangers and
past
Celtic
to
have
be
not
able to
had.
do that.
When have Celtic been in European football after Christmas?
Well, we're in it all the time now after Christmas.
Oh,
We get a
because they
choice.
extended a tournament now. But when are they actually? Celtic don't do domestic, don't do European football after February. So this has been a rarity that you actually has a couple of games. Celtic.
Well, we did last season. To be fair, we actually got into the playoff in the Champions League as well against Bayern. But
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's still February. You know, like
I
you're
know.
not talking about you getting to a final or even the latter stages. You get
But
knocked
what?
out
Because
early doors. You played 2 extra games than Rangers did.
if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Basically,
Yeah,
in my opinion, that's
I
what
just
happened.
think that Celtic, like, don't get me wrong, right? The fixture stuff with Aberdeen out of your control, getting that rescheduled, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest, like Celtic and Rangers should be preparing to play football all season, 2 games a week.
I know.
If you're not prepared to
But,
do that, then
but to do that, you need to buy the players that are going to be capable of doing it.
you have what players? Some of them have been shit.
They're shite. I
Like
know that.
that's what's called a transfer window. Sometimes you make good ones, sometimes you make bad ones. Martin
Oh,
O'Neill signed bad players at the end of in January there, and Vuka looks terrible.
I don't think.
Adamu looks like he's in the wrong movie.
I don't think they. I think Martin O'Neill. They were
Oh,
thrown on Martin O'Neill. I don't think he
he still
basically.
signed off on them.
I know he signed off on them, but what
But
else could he do? It
and then you look at Brendan
was either
Rodgers
that or who else
signings.
were we going to get?
Brendan
Yeah.
Rodgers was the guy that was spending, 6.5 million on Austin Trusty, who plays one good game in 5, which won't cut it at Celtic.
I know that.
It won't cut it when Liam Scales, who everyone criticises, plays 3 or 4 good games in 5.
I know.
And people always criticise the 1 or 2 he doesn't play well.
The what you call him? The boy Arthur. I like the look of him. I know he's only a
He
young kid, but I'd like
looks
to
solid.
see him. I'd like to see him be
He
on
already
loan again
looks
next season.
better than Trusty does.
Aye.
And
I'd
Trusty's
love to see.
apparently
I'd
5
love to keep
million or 6
Araujo as well.
million.
Love to keep Araujo. See these players, but
He
I'd
cost us.
rather see these players that we're getting on loan. Get them in with an option to buy, no an obligation, right? And that way,
Yeah,
if they're good, we can get first dibs on them, and if they're shite, go no thank you, I don't want you. But
that's the
the
way Rangers
Celtic
Celtic
don't do
need to
that
do
either.
more.
Celtic don't do that with loan players. They should.
Rangers have tried to do it. I mean, I know they failed with the Cherny one. They should have got that one more, but like they do have it on Scott Wilson, but he's not really done it. So that's the problem in it, is that you can have these options, but they need to turn up.
Is he an option or an obligation, Scott Wilson?
Option.
All right, well, you'll
Option.
not be buying him then because he looks rotten.
I wouldn't have thought so, but I think there's and I think Cornelius, I don't think will take up that option either because he's been injured.
Is that Romans a loan player or not?
No, he's a signing. He
Is
was.
he right?
He looks pretty solid. But if we move on to Sunday's games, Dundee Derby was fun.
Yeah.
I think Dundee obviously battled back from 2 goals, but Dundee United will be absolutely horrified to lose that game.
Aye.
If you're 2 goals up in the 90th minute, you shouldn't be drawing a game. But what did you think of the penalty against Simon Murray? Penalty or no penalty?
Probably
For me, it's a no penalty.
It's a soft one.
But based on all the ones that get given, I can
Mhm.
understand why it was given.
Yeah.
Because how many times have we seen these types of penalties given, even though in our heart of hearts we agree that that's fucking harsh. Like, what's he meant to do? And for me, it's not a penalty. But I think Dundee United would gutted.
Well, they will be 2-0
not
up.
to win that.
It's just
I
like
think
the
what
other.
you
It's like the
what
derby
you
a few weeks ago. You were 2-0 up. The same thing happened. Same idea.
Yeah, but I think
Go
what
that
you
late,
need to
though.
do is you need to praise that Stephen Presley's doing a great job.
That was 2 goals in injury time yesterday. They got.
I mean,
That's
what is it,
mental.
94 and 96?
Aye, something like that.
But I think you need to praise the job he's doing. And, you know, we talked about, you know, no, I don't think it's a penalty either.
Yep.
But
We both agree. We agree it wasn't a penalty. Yep, it was never a penalty.
But the sad thing is that we're always going to talk about consistency because every team in the league will say, "Oh, we've not had one for that," or "We've had one. We got one against us," like that. And problem is that Scotland tried to go down this route of every handball's a penalty, but it shouldn't be.
I know you can't have that. Crazy.
But I think you know, Dundee's going to have a say in this title race as well because their next 2 games are against Hearts and Celtic. And the way Dundee are playing right now, I wouldn't be, put it this way, I don't expect them to lose both those games. That's all I'm saying.
Is that a game at Tannadice and Dens Park we've got?
Yeah, you've got 2 games. Well, either side of the internationals, yeah. So
2 away games. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, that was the first home game I've been to in about a month.
But
it's crazy.
Then 4 of your last 6 will be at home. Whereas
good.
4 of Rangers last 6 will be away. That's just the way it works.
It's about time.
And right now we've both got 8 games left, 4 at home, 4 away.
That's right.
Unfortunately, Rangers have got 2 at home in a week, which sounds great because you go, oh, we can get 6 points on the board, but then you go, shite, there's only 2 more home games, which means that Rangers are going to need to make a damn sight improvement away from home. But I think talking about the Dundee derby, I think fair play to Dundee, but Dundee United will be devastated. And they obviously will need to bounce back against Celtic next week. But
I hope they don't.
You could see them. You could see them carrying that in because that would have hurt. I think if Celtic get an early goal in that game, I could see that being quite one-sided. However, if Dundee United get a goal, it might lift them, and you know what I mean. It can go either way. But
you know what? I would love another 8 or 9 now, but it's not going to happen. Not with Celtic the way they're playing.
I'd be surprised if Celtic scored 8 or 9 in the last 7 games. The last
under
8 games.
The game under Ange was a classic.
Aye, I mean, Jack Ross's team were terrible though, weren't they? I mean, let's be honest. I know Celtic were brilliant, but did they not just lose 7 off AZ Alkmaar like the week before, and it was something like an aggregate of like 16 or something? It was like, oh, terrible. But no, I think as I said, then both the Dundee sides they've got quality, but Dundee United, we've spoken about their Jekyll and Hyde nature all season. Jesus Christ, did they show it yesterday? Because they could have been 4 or 5 up.
Aye.
And then somehow they can try to draw the game that they should be winning. But if we move on to obviously Rangers, St Mirren, I don't think there's much to talk about this game. It was
No.
honking, but I do think it was honking because
Lucky, your team were lucky.
of, well, have you been lucky? Well, you were lucky at Falkirk there, weren't you? Right,
Well,
because
aye,
it was
but
the exact same. Ways were terrible, but you found a way to win. We had,
if they'd Stephen Robinson in charge still,
it
would it
wouldn't
have
have made
happened?
any difference, no.
You
Because at the
don't
end of
know.
the day, sometimes you just score a goal, a decent goal from Rangers' point of view. But
I
at the
know,
end
but
of the day,
I thought St Mirren played well against you, and
I
they
did
just
think they did. I thought they were terrible.
they were all right. They
No,
weren't
I thought they
great.
were honestly. I thought they were hopeless, and it was the only reason Rangers won is because they were hopeless.
They were all right
They
going
offered,
forward until they got to the 18-yard box, and then they
they
couldn't do
offered,
anything.
they offered absolutely nothing. I mean, Butland didn't even make a save,
Well, that's poor game
and
of football.
that's.
Two
But
poor teams.
what I would say about Rangers though, and since we brought Giga back into the team, you know, there's a clean sheet against Celtic when he was on the pitch. You
I
know,
thought you didn't like him.
I prefer him to Suter. So
Right.
if Giga and Fernandez are playing, you know, Rangers are capable of clean sheets. And I think out of the three at the top, I think Rangers, strangely, are the most likely to keep a clean sheet. But I also think we're probably the worst going forward. If I'm being totally honest, see if I'm just being totally honest, I think your defence is better than yours and Hearts, but I think your attack is definitely third. Those three
Well,
teams.
it is at the minute, but if we've got Johnson fit and Carter Vickers fit, that isn't it?
No, we can only judge it on right now, though. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Is right now you look at the teams and you go, Celtic have got massive holes in that defence, and the goalkeeper's obviously come in and made a wee bit of a difference, but he's still losing goal. He still loses a goal a game. But I just
I
think
thought
that
I think we'd have
I think
lost more
defensively,
under
you
Schmeichel was in goals. So
no, no.
I think
I
Sonny
don't think
Silva's
it.
done well.
I don't think it's unfair to suggest that Rangers look slightly better defensively than Hearts and Celtic, but I also don't think it's unfair to suggest that Rangers look the least likely to score goals
Aye, well, as I said, they got
because
one goal yesterday and they won
I
the
don't
game
I don't
because the
think
team
they've
you were
got.
playing against were really poor.
Yeah, but I mean, as I said, how many Hearts just got 1-0 against Falkirk in Livingston, and we're saying it's the sign of
That's
champions.
because
Celtic,
I think Hearts
Celtic
are a
got
poor side. They're just
no,
getting lucky.
well,
Whereas
Celtic got a one. Right,
Celtic and Rangers have been unlucky,
right. Well,
obviously.
Celtic got a 1-0 at Falkirk. Right, was that lucky or was that a sign of champions? Right, you were terrible that night. You probably should have been about 5-0 down.
It is the old saying. It's the old
And that was
cliche,
under
isn't it?
Martin O'Neill before
Aye, but
anyone says it. And you
it is
were
the old cliche,
honking.
isn't it? It's the old saying, Murray, that if you
Yeah,
do grind out results like that, it is the
it's a
sign of
sign of
champions.
that's what
There's
you
that.
always say.
Aye.
But what I would say is, I don't
But
think
we
Rangers
can say that because we've won the league like on a consistent
until
basis.
that's what I'm saying. Until Rangers do that, I don't think we have a right to say that it's a
Mhm.
sign of champions. But what I would say is, out of all the team, I think Rangers are most likely to keep clean sheets.
Hearts
So,
definitely don't have the right to say the sign of champions because what have they won?
so what I would say though is, I'm not going to be hard. If I look at even the next three games, right, Rangers have got home to Aberdeen, home to Dundee United, away to
Hmm.
Falkirk, right?
Right.
Now, we'll get on to Celtic and Hearts fixtures, right? But if you're being totally honest, right, do you see a world that Rangers can keep three clean sheets? I do, but I'm
Can
not
you?
all. But I'm not that sure.
I still think you can
No,
concede goals.
I'm not that sure that we can score against all those teams. That's where my problem lies. Is that when the problem is that when we open up, though, we then become likely to lose a goal. We've not
Mm.
got that balance right. Now, I'm very confident, right, that Rangers should beat all those teams 1-0 if we get the right set piece goal or a goal like Roman scored or a wonder goal.
Yep.
But we're not playing well. We've not got the right balance between attack and defence yet. And there's only 8 games left. We're going to need to find it for somewhere. But right now, I look at those 3 games and I go, if I'm being totally honest, I think Rangers will beat Aberdeen and Dundee United at home by the odd goal.
Well, I hope that Stephen Robinson's got them playing a bit better than what they're
And I
playing at the
think
minute.
depending depending on Falkirk having the top 6 wrapped up, I think I think Rangers could get 9 points from the next 3. What's the comments? Yeah, of course they have. Well, not really. Rangers, I mean, Celtic only had 2 extra games. Rangers had it all through January as well. You know, yes, you've had unlucky with the rearranged games. We've had
Aye.
games. We've had games
It's
like
the Aberdeen game. Because if
yeah,
the
but we've
Aberdeen
all
game had been played when it should have been
yeah, but
played, we
we also
probably would
had
have won
cup
it
games.
anyway.
We had cup games rearranged in the new year as well that we had to get through. Like you said, a free week when we had a game against Aberdeen on a
Mhm.
midweek. It happens. Like that's just excuses. Okay, I
I
can't say
agree with
that.
I agree with that one. I'll agree with that.
Of course you did, but I can't. Well, I could see he's taking 3 off Hearts, but I can't remember
We'll
the
beat
last
you
time
at
you.
Celtic Park. We'll beat you at Celtic Park.
No, when's the last time you did that?
Will you have any fans in?
Well, that doesn't matter. When's the last time you beat us at Celtic Park?
2024, September 2024.
Exactly. Jesus.
But 100% agree with you there.
You
At
hope.
Rocky 1888.
But what I would say is that the obviously Rangers. That's their 3 games. Although I'm not confident we'll play well in the games, I think Rangers will take 9 points and they'll probably sneak by with 1-0s. I look at
You're not
Celtics.
confident that you think they'll take 9 points.
Yeah, because I'm not confident they'll play well. But it's a damn
But they'll,
sight easier
but
though.
they'll dig out the
To,
results.
yeah, but you can dig out results against Aberdeen, Dundee United, and Falkirk, right? But can we do that against Hearts and Celtic in Motherwell? I'm not sure because they're a different standard, and you have to be honest about that. There's a chasm
Motherwell, would you
between
add Motherwell
Motherwell
into that?
and the
Motherwell as
rest.
well.
Aye,
Aye.
I said Motherwell, Hearts, and I'm not going to say Hibs because I don't think they are, but Motherwell, Hearts, and Celtic are a chasm away from the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at Celtic's games and I go, okay, on paper it seems tougher because you've got to go Dundee twice.
Yeah.
But quite honestly, if you play that Dundee United team, you should be winning by a couple. You'll beat St Mirren by a few. I do think that there's potential for a draw at Dens if you don't get it right. But I expect Celtic to sneak a 2-1 win there. And
Well,
I also get
what I'll say I like and I don't like at the same time is Martin O'Neill will pick a team for the first half, and he is realising that it's wrong, and then he's changing it at half time, which is good.
that's good.
But
That's good.
I don't like the fact that he gets it ranked to start with. If you know what I
Maybe it's
mean,
not wrong. I
I
think on
like how they
Saturday
end
he
up.
set up to counter attack because he knew that Motherwell are a good team. So he
Hmm.
thought that the best chance of getting goals was to counter attack them.
Aye.
So I think he got it right on Saturday.
Ah, but he did
But
change it
yeah,
at half
so
time. He
yeah,
took
yeah,
Tanecti off,
not
didn't he?
yeah,
So
but we've said this all season.
I know
Tanecki's
Tanecti's
not a
better coming
starter,
off the bench. He's
and
better
neither
coming
is
off the bench.
Gassama because
So
he
is
was
Negrin.
hopeless yesterday again
So is Negrin.
because they can't start. They can't start games because they're just not good at that pace. But then I look at Hearts' 3 games, and this is where I think they're going to struggle because although I could see them sneaking a win against Dundee at home,
Mm.
right now would a draw at Livingston surprise you? It certainly wouldn't surprise
No,
me, and I don't think they'll get any more than a point off Motherwell.
but I think, as I said, that will be them rattled. But because of that defeat yesterday, that will rattle their
We've said
confidence.
that all season though. The
Aye, but
defeat
it's
at
getting in.
Ibrox, no,
We're
but
getting into the nitty gritty now.
the defeat at Ibrox was meant to rattle them, and they still bounced back with 2-1-0 wins. So give them credit where it's due.
All right, all right.
Yes, they beat. Yes, some people might say that Aberdeen and Falkirk weren't the best teams, but they still went out and beat them
They'll probably
1-0.
still be in. They'll probably still be in the fight until
But
the
what I'm
end. But
saying is,
I think they'll fall away. I think they'll fall away.
I would expect them to drop 4 points before the split, right?
Well, Hearts, right,
I think they'll draw 2 games and I think they'll win one.
right.
If they drop 4 points and Rangers and Celtic don't, then Rangers and Celtic will be, clear going into the split.
Aye.
Yes, there'll still be a point between Rangers and Celtic, but that could set up an absolute mammoth
But then you've got
game at
Rangers
Celtic Park.
obviously will play Hearts and Celtic will play Hearts post split, and then that will really decide what's happening
Yeah,
with the
well,
league.
and as I said, the games against Motherwell, Hibs, Falkirk are going to have just as much a say. But if we park the title race till Friday, we can
Aye.
get back on it. But Scotland squad,
Mhm.
my initial thoughts were this is what I would say is right. There was some good decisions and there were some terrible decisions.
Ralston,
Right,
Donovan should be in there for Ralston.
right. I agree. Right, Ralston can't get a game at Celtic. Donovan
Mhm.
plays ahead of him at times.
Yep.
So no, I don't see any world where he should be in there. Now, why is Halkett not in that squad over Hanley?
I know.
Yeah, but as I said, I mean, you're right. I mean, the cracks could be there, but I'm just saying that I don't think it's a sure thing that they're going to just fall away.
No, but uh, they might. They might. Right. We'll just say they might. But
They might not. But on to Scotland though. So I thought there was a few few weird decisions, right? Hyam, I agree with, right? The centre back from Wrexham, he's had a great season, right?
Hmm.
But I mean, I looked at like why is Hanley in that squad, right? Hanley's honking,
I know he shouldn't be anywhere near that
and
squad.
why not Craig Halkett? He's had a great season. I looked at other players that I thought, you know, I'll even say Suter, right? Suter has went right off the ball at
Hanley's
Rangers.
honking.
Why is Suter in the squad right now? He's not playing well.
Well, you could say the same about Ralston.
Yeah, Ralston should be nowhere near it. I mean, like Donovan should be in there. But what about
He's
Welsh? What about Welsh from
Stephen
Motherwell?
Welsh. He's
I
done
know.
really well, hasn't he,
Why,
at
why
Motherwell?
is he not playing better than John Suter is right now?
I would say so.
Right.
Hmm.
Look at the midfield, right? Andy Irving. Why the hell is he in there?
Who's he?
He's the guy that was at West Ham that's went to Czech Republic. He's playing at Sparta Prague, right? But what about what?
I know.
What? But we don't need experience for
Ralston is only in
friendlies.
the squad for experience and has plenty for
Uh,
Celtic in Europe. He
yeah,
said
but
that it was good to see Clarke doing the
yeah,
rounds, watching players. It was good to see him
I
doing the rounds,
agree. I
watching players.
agree. And obviously, he went to the Kilmarnock game and seen Finlay Curtis, and that's a great idea because how much did we say when Ben Gannon Doak got injured right against Denmark? We had no winger on the bench to bring
Hmm.
on and have a like for like. Now,
That's right.
I don't think Finlay Curtis is at that level yet, right? But I don't see a dearth of great
But he's
wingers
obviously he's
in
putting him in the
Scotland.
squad to get a look at him.
Aye, to get a look and see, well, this is too friendly, it don't matter. Let's give him a chance. But also, could you not make a case that Elliot Watt would have been great
Totally
in there?
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
Elliot Watt should be in there. Elliot
I
Watt
mean,
should be in there.
don't get me wrong, I agree with Gilmore, Christie, Ferguson being in there, right? But
Hmm.
do I really need to see Kenny McLean again? Now, Kenny McLean will
What?
go to the World Cup, right?
He will.
I've got no doubt about that, right? But
For
this is
me, Kenny
friendly
McLean's
games.
been there
Yeah,
and done it. Yeah,
this
exactly.
is two friendly games. This is an opportunity to see can Elliot Watt do something after the World
Hmm.
Cup.
This should
And
be
then
preparing for the future. That's exactly.
and this is what I also said about the strikers as well. I didn't really need to see Adams or Dykes
I
because
know,
I've
because we know
seen
what
them.
they can do. I
What
know.
about the young boy at Falkirk that's banging them in?
I
Uh,
Barney
Barney
Stewart.
Stewart.
Barney Stewart.
Why not? I
I
mean,
know. Give him a
it's a
chance.
friendly against Japan and Ivory
And
Coast.
Ivory Coast. Yep.
And also, I have to say this one might be a wee
See if we
bit
don't win them, we
controversial,
don't win
right?
them.
But
Just to blood the players in, give them a chance.
George Hurst is in the squad, right?
How many
And
times has he got a cap for Scotland? He's been in
in
loads
the
of squad.
but in the championship this season, right? He has scored 9 goals, 1 assist in 30 games, right? Now, Ollie McBurney, who I think was honking, right, has scored 13 goals, 8 assists in the same games.
But Ollie McBurney
So
is honking.
but is he worse than George Hurst? I don't think so. And he certainly isn't right now because he's playing in a league in the championship where, you know, I think we need to see different players for
Well,
these friendly
we're
games.
meaning in terms of, because it's a friendly, we're meaning in terms of
Yeah.
you want to see players that that'll take care for this squad once the World Cup's finished. I mean, we know what we get for the likes of McLean. We know what we get for Adams. We know what we can get for
I mean,
Dykes.
and Robertson and
I'm not
Tierney.
saying we're not saying drop every single player
No,
that's got
I'm
us
not
to the
saying that
World Cup.
either, but
Just mix it up a bit.
this was an opportunity to put Harry Milne in the squad for Hearts, right? Because
Mhm.
he's had a good season at left back. I know what Tierney and Robertson can do. I know that Tierney and Robertson will be going to the World Cup. But if Andy Robertson chucks it in the summer, right, and retires from Scotland, and
Aye.
you've got a Kieran Tierney who, let's be honest, has had previous of breaking down or maybe can't quite handle domestic football and international, we need other players who can step up. And
Mhm.
why not have a look at Harry Milne?
I will.
I just
For
think,
anything else, you just need cover.
yeah. And I just think you got the balance wrong. I think there's too many players that aren't playing at their clubs, right? Hanley, injured, doesn't get a game. Liam Kelly, why the fuck's he in the squad?
Well, exactly.
Like, John McCracken played a good game for Dundee yesterday. Put him in. Like, Angus Gunn, I understand, right? Because although he isn't playing at Nottingham Forest, we need him to be ready for the World Cup. So these games give him game time.
I agree. I agree with that comment. Yeah. For
So,
Strange Love a Doctor, that's a good comment.
I think, yeah, I do agree, but I feel like that's more the 2 or 3 friendlies before the World Cup is all about tactics. See in March what you're
Well, what
really
about
going
these
to learn.
ones then? What would you do with these ones then?
For me, I'd have been trying different things and different players. Like, let's see who's ready to take a step up. Yes, I understand giving some people game time.
I hope none of them get injured either. I know you don't want any of them getting injured between the now and the end of the season as well, because then he will need to mix it up.
For me, the balance of the squad was all wrong. But I mean, and it's 2 tough games though. I mean, I think it's Japan.
There's a question.
Penrice, another player that's doing well at AK Athens.
And
Taylor's went away to Park and just been forgot about because he's not wearing hoops. He's still a good player.
Greg Taylor, I know he is a good player, exactly. Greg Taylor should be in the Scotland squad. He's a good player.
But we only pick players if they play in Scotland. No,
not really, because he's picked. Who's he picked?
Well, he picked the boys. He's picked the Italian Stallions.
Well, I get that. But there's somebody else playing somewhere else that's getting a game.
Well, Scott McKenna.
Who plays for Sparta?
That's Andy Irving's at Sparta Prague.
Why is he getting a game? Why is he getting in the squad?
Well, he liked. Do you know the problem is, right? And I'm going to say something harsh, and it sounds harsh on a manager who's got us to finals, right? But he's too loyal to players who he likes.
He is. I mean, I like what Stevie Clarke's done for Scotland, obviously, but you're right, he is far too loyal to players.
And I just think, like, Jack Hendry.
Jack Hendry again? See, when it's got to the big tournaments, they've let him down at the big tournaments.
What, does anyone really need to see Hanley, Hendry, or Suter again? Like,
another one, Hendry, he's playing in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, they might be in the squad for the World Cup, that's fine. But right now, for 2 friendlies, I think we could have seen what other centre-backs we have. I'm happy that Hyam's in there because, as I said, having a great season at Wrexham.
I thought I saw a player in for Wrexham. I was like, who's that?
Yeah, he's Dom Hyam. He's been in squads before, but
is he Scottish or is he English with a Scottish granny or something? But is that one of these ones?
One of those English with a granny. I mean, Ross McCrory been in there as a strange one. I think he's a good player, but he's one of those players that he plays right back sometimes, he plays centre mid sometimes, he plays centre back other times. I think he's a wee bit hindered by never holding down a position. And I don't know where he fits in at Scotland, but I do think he's a good player.
Aye, yes.
Always liked him when he was at Rangers, and then when he went to Aberdeen, he kicked on, and then he obviously went down to Bristol and done really well. But
here's another player for you. Talking about Aberdeen, what about the boy Frame?
Yeah, I'm happy to see any young left backs. I don't need to see Robertson.
Mitchell Frame. Yeah. I'd like to see him in the squad, I know, obviously. So
I'd been happy to see. I mean, but I think there was more. There was. I mean, as I said, Harry Milne was closer to the Scotland team. Obviously, the way he's been. But I just feel like there isn't a single Motherwell player in that squad. But yet they're maybe it's because they're a good football team.
Elliot Watt, he's Scottish, but what other players in Motherwell? I'm thinking of the foreigners they've got.
But I mean,
because Elijah Just, he's
in New Zealand.
New Zealand.
But there was other players. I mean, even players that I don't like Stephen O'Donnell, is having a great season.
We know what we can get for Stephen O'Donnell. He's been in loads of squads before.
No, I agree, but I just
Welsh should have been in there. Welsh could
have been in there because, as I said, would I choose Welsh over Suter in the summer? Probably not, because I know what Suter can do. But right now, for 2 friendly, no, but he's never really let Scotland down. Lets Rangers down often enough. But for Scotland, you've got to say there's not many times he's really let us down.
No, I suppose not.
I think he's one of those like Christie that's better for his country than his club.
Christie, is he in the squad? I never noticed.
Yeah, in the squad.
Is he in the squad again? Aye, right.
He understands. He's just back for injury, isn't he? He's been out for about 6 weeks, so him will be more about just getting the 90 minutes in him. So I'm fine with some players, like even Gilmore been in there because he's just back for injury. But I just felt that we could have tried to get a few more players in.
What did you think of the Harvey Barnes turning as the back?
At the end of the day, right, he's allowed to, if he thinks he's good enough to get in that England team, good luck to the boy.
But he probably won't.
He probably won't, but that's life. He's made a decision. I wouldn't ask him again. We've asked him, and that's
him as well. Yep, Slattery.
Yeah, Callum Slattery is a good player, but I thought he was English.
I thought, is he? Is he? I don't know.
I think so. I'll check. I always thought he was English, but I might be wrong. Yeah, he's English. But I don't know.
Is he?
Maybe he's got he'll probably have some sort of Scottish granny.
Right. Oh, there he's English. Well, Harvey Barnes was English, wasn't he? I know, and he turned his
exactly. You can find a way, can't you?
Aye.
We'll need to look into his grannies, but But do you know what? I just think that there's a lot of players that I felt. I mean, but I do think I'm glad Curtis is in there because there's a real lack of width. And when Doak went off that night, we had nothing.
Nathan Patterson's back as well, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think that's justified because he's at least getting some game time at Everton. And I do think that Patterson will go to the World Cup regardless.
Simon Murray. What do you think? Hello?
Yeah, I'm not against him. No.
All right, you took a while to answer that there. I thought you'd froze. Right. I think you have froze. Have you froze? Are you still there?
No, I don't know what's happening. Am I still here?
All right.
Sorry.
You're still there.
No, can you hear me? Right.
Aye.
Right. I think it was something sort of spun with my connection there. I don't know what it is. But no, Simon Murray or Barney Stewart. I think players who are playing well in your domestic league shouldn't
Probably
be too
better
far
off with
away from
Barney
your squad.
Rubble.
But by the way,
Better off Barney Rubble.
I reckon Simon Murray could do what Dykes does and just sort of run about and put himself about and
Age
show
is Simon
very
Murray?
little quality. Yeah, he's in his 30s.
Is he about 33? Is he that old now? Is he?
Aye. But
Aye.
do you know what though? I think too often we turn our nose up at players domestically.
But that's why if John McGinley
You
can
know,
get into the Scotland squad all the years ago, then why can Simon Murray not get in?
Remember his Bolton days.
Aye, John McGinley.
His top always looked huge on him, even though he was pure fat. It was always a weird thing. It was like they gave him like a fucking like 4XL just so it wasn't tight fitting, but it always looked like it was hanging off his shoulders. I don't know if you remember that when he had that Bolton top on. Always looked like he was wearing a fucking bedsheet. It was ridiculous.
I mind he scored. He scored against Sweden at Ibrox when we qualified for the.
Do you know what I mind at that? I was at that game. I was at that game because they didn't sell the tickets, right? And they offered them to Rangers fans last minute, like if you want your own seat. And I had a season ticket at the time, they offered it for like £5. Fucking brilliant. I was like, oh, quite right, I'll go. It was like 1-0 McGinley.
Aye, McGinley scored, that's right. Sweden won it. It was against Sweden. Aye.
Sweden. I remember Jonas Tern played that day for Sweden. If I remember rightly.
Henrik Larsson must have played for Sweden. I know then, because it would have been for the 98 World Cup.
He might have been on the bench, maybe.
Because he would have been at Celtic at that point.
Yeah, he was just coming. Well, he was just sort of breaking in, but he was Chick Charles. He's at his first year at Celtic. Was that
97, 98 was Henrik's first season, aye.
So he might have been in and around the Sweden squad.
Still scored about 16 goals, I think, that season.
Yeah, I know. Everyone says he was pish at the start. And you're like, wait, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't. He
was pishing one game against Dundee United. That was it.
And then that's it. That's exactly. Henrik Larsson will never be pish.
But it's amazing how people rewrite history. I mean, the amount of players, the amount of people that pretend that Tore Andre Flo was honking his whole time here. You're like, he wasn't. He just wasn't very good. Wasn't very good in the big games.
Henrik Larsson's a god.
No, I'm just saying it's even an example like that where it shows you how people rewrite history.
I know.
And pretend that, but they often pretend people were better than they were as well, with other examples.
Aye, I know.
We've all got those ones where you go.
That'll be your cult heroes. They weren't great, but they were cult figures at the club,
we've all got them, our teams, but a few of them. I mean, do you know what? Chamiti's been one of them. He's honking, but yeah, I mean, Bain's in the squad, which I think is a good thing. But
he's had a good season, but he had a bit of a howler at the weekend there.
Yeah, as I said, Liam Kelly was the one that I was more annoyed with because I was like, he doesn't even get a game for Rangers ever. I just felt that McCracken would have been a better choice for that.
No, but I like Scott Bain's all right.
Gordon's injured right now, so if Gordon's not in the squad, then
Gordon's injured again, eh? So no, by the time he chucked it ages anyway.
We still need him for the World Cup. We'll roll him out for one more game.
Does he say about 44 or something? What age is he?
41, 42.
Are you sure he's not older than that?
No,
I'm sure he's 43. He's 43. I'm sure he is.
I'm pretty sure he was only 41, 42.
What? 40?
He's 43.
Told you.
He just turned it in December.
Told you. I knew he was 43. Aye.
Right. But he's not going to play to 44. But anyway, shall we leave it there?
Yep.
I think we've rabbited on enough. We'll come back on Friday and we'll do predictions for the
Preview and predictions.
weekends.
Yep.
And anything else that comes up, we'll have a chat about, and obviously keep interacting with the comments, keep them coming. It was
Yep.
it's been good. Yeah, so let's as Lorenzo said at the start, like
Yep.
and subscribe and keep commenting, and it helps the channel grow.
Yep. Definitely.
I'm sure we'll end up watching we'll do some sort of Scotland watch alongs at the World Cup in the middle of the night.
Cheers, Dexter.
Right, cheers.
And cheers, Dr. Strangelove, or Strangelove the Doctor. Thanks for your
Right.
comments all night.
Have a good one. Right.
Yep. Yep.
Right. Thanks everyone, and
Yep.
leave it there.
Yep. We'll see you all again on Friday.
Right. Well, for another weekend of Scottish bloody football.
Can we put ourselves through it again? We'll just have to.
Of course we can. Of course we can. I can watch Rangers get 7 or 8 more 1-0s.
I could do the same with Celtic, but I don't know if my heart would be able to take it.
No. We're going to be proper grey by the World Cup.
I know.
This channel need to be sponsored by that. What's that? Alpecin.
Aye, Alpecin and just for men.
by the World Cup.
Aye, just for
Right,
men.
cool. We'll leave it there.
Right.
Right, catch
Thanks
you later.
again. Right, cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.